Y'all, the way Blake Ritson put his back into it last night in the Gilded Age, y'all, I mind boggled. Do you hear me? Clutching my pearls and my bag, my wig, and all of the things, because his performance as Oscar last night, grieving fruit carted John Adams, bravissimo. Like, no notes, 10 out of 10. My goodness. Just when you think the Gilded Age can't take it any further, Julian Fellows, Sonia Warfield said, we're going to push you to the max. And that's exactly what they did. I'll tell you one thing. That full beard that connects on both sides better be here at the end of this. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, love a bone, give along, need it. My name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on, okay? Guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, of course, my name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, and we are back to talk The Gilded Age, Season 3, Episode 7, Excommunicado. Excommunicated. But honestly, the McAllister situation was the least of my worries. I loved it. It was a nod to Truman Capote and his swans. I got it. Although I know McAllister is based on a real situation as well. And this book did come out and upset the lives of a lot of the wealthy elites of the time. But again, that was secondary to me. I want to start over here. I want to start with Oscar and John Adams' sister, and this meeting that we get to sit and be privy to, where she explains, I knew my little brother. We were the youngest in the family. I knew him. I was the keeper of his secrets, and he was the keeper of mine. He made arrangements for you. He made arrangements for you. How many people can say that? That he thought enough of you, even in his young age, to say anything could happen. In the event of something happening, I want to make sure that you're provided for, Oscar, because you were that special to me. And because I truly loved you, I told my sister about you. And sister stood on big business and said, listen, he left it to me because we didn't want it to get icky. We didn't want the confusion around the paperwork or the questions, but I am signing it over to you, and it's taken care of for 5 years. All the expenses of the beach home, and you are good to go, baby. Of course, he tries to decline it, and you can't decline it because that man loved you down. That was your man, your man, your man. We get home and the unexpected happens. And for all of y'all telling me what Julian Fellows won't do, I told y'all he would go over here acting like people can't have a breakdown and have real emotion because of the time. Oscar did. Oscar did. And we left that room, everybody knowing. His mama, his auntie, who I already think Ada suspected Oscar's true, identity as far as it goes. But Marian immediately in the moment caught on because Agnes is very... You know how Agnes is. We know that he's grieving. We know that he's dealing with it. And I think she mentioned something about dinner. And, he's a man. Let him deal with it. How do you want me to expect? How do you want me to act, mother? And from there, we see the tirade. Because if you really want to know what we were doing and who he was to me, you probably wouldn't even want me here anymore. Like Marian was like, yes, we know that was your best friend. We know that he was a good man to you. We know... that he was your longtime boyhood friend. Baby Ada and Agnes's face cracked. Jaws hanging open, but it was such a beautifully acted scene. You saw the rawness of the emotion of this man who has not been able to live out loud, who, at any given moment is in fear of being exposed. And the idea that the only somebody in this world that absolutely loved him, knew him fully, and still loved him is no longer there, yet thought enough of him to provide. And then I'm having to come home and not express how I truly feel because still a fear of my family who I'm not able to be myself around. Y'all, This was a masterclass. And y'all know I'd have never rocked with Oscar's character. But I think this is a testament to Blake's prowess as an actor, because the way that I was engulfed, I empathized, I felt every single second of it. It's like being boxed in for your whole life and then finally just letting it out. And even he didn't even get to let it all out before the time it was enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, whew, it was so good. Anyway, let's get to the title, right? Excommunicated. We know that McAllister released his book, and I'm gonna say, if you were a Downton fan, think Lady Whistledown, but think Mr. Whistledown, but make it a book. You know what I mean? And not a periodical. But McAllister basically went out and told on everybody. So we have a meeting of the minds, and I believe it's at the Van Rhijn house, hosted by Ada. Miss Astor is there. Mrs. Fish is there. Bertha is there. And, you know, what are we going to do? And the conclusion that they reach is that he needs to be exiled from society. He can't be there. Now, in his mind, he said, I am society. You can't exile me because I'm him, right? And they said, not so. Everybody was in the book to some degree. You know, Mrs. Fish said that he talked about her husband buying cheap wine. Oh, and the pearls were grasped in that moment. It's Astor on the way out. Thanks, Ada, for hosting. And Ada is completely elated because it's me now. It's me. It's me. Meanwhile, downstairs, the staff is talking, and I believe Bridget is like, I want to go buy this dress. And, you know, they're like, well, you have the means to go ahead and do it now, you know, since our baby Jack blessed everyone and they're able to go. Now, my big T was, as we're downstairs, Miss Armstrong is at the table reading the book all loud and proud. Not Miss Armstrong a gossip. You the full gossip? She said, yeah, she telling all the business about the society people, and Armstrong is set. Bertha and George finally kind of meet in the house, and a very messed up situation because, of course, George is on the brink of madness because nothing is going his way. And Bertha is oblivious, right? You can't forgive me? I made it right for Gladys. Like, you can't talk to me. He's like, woman, listen. I'm on the brink of failure here, and I don't give a damn about your balls, about this book, about anything that's going on. I don't give a damn. And she's kind of said, like, what do you mean? Is there something you haven't told me? Are we headed to the poorhouse? Yes, ho. You're headed to the poorhouse, and you couldn't be bothered because you're out here doing the most. We find out that Mr. Russell had to send word to Europe, to the Duke, that, hey, I don't have your payment this month. I might not ever have your payment. Just FYI. And I thought it was very interesting. Hector took his time and talked to Gladys about it and was like, listen, you know, your dad wrote me. He's not going to have the money, but you know what? It's not about the money. And Gladys is like, yes, it is. He's like, you know what? This is bigger than money. And we're finally seeing the growing affection there. And Sister Cersei hates it. Sister Cersei hates it. And I know the heifer's name is Sarah. For everyone in the comments last week that was like, his sister's name is Sarah. I don't give a single damn. She will forever and always be Sister Cersei because it gives those vibes to me. It still does. So she doesn't like the idea that Gladys is cozying up to the Duke and that the Duke is cozying up. In this episode, by the end, he's basically telling her, I want you to get your own house. You can't be worried about us. And she says, you're in on this, aren't you, Gladys? And Gladys says, I just don't want you stressing out about this household when you can be living your best life. I want you to have fun. You know, earlier in the episode, Sister Cersei had said, well, if they don't have the money, you need to find a way to send her back. He said, I'm not sending her back. I'm not sending her back. I'm not sending her back. Now, on the other side of the street, at the Russells' home, Mr. Church, the main footman, is working to kind of sniff out the mole, right? And so he concocts this story and he gives it to a select group of people and says, if this story gets out, we know it's, you know, Our Lady's maid. And so we ultimately find out it was her. She was the one. She was getting a cute coin every time a story was published. It was what it was. It was kind of anticlimactic to me because I think we all knew. And that was the thing about this episode. Although it was a very good episode, there were some very, very predictable moments in it. But, you know, we'll get into it. Still top-notch acting, top-notch writing. I'm never going to be disappointed in this. let's see. I already went through that because I had to deal with Oscar and John's sister first because she was a beautiful, 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 beautiful person. McAllister is not taking the dismissal well. He's losing his ish, trying to talk to anybody and everybody. He pushes his way into Miss Astor's home, and she ultimately turns her back because why would you play in my face? I thought we were better than that. I thought we were friends. Finally, he talks to Bertha, and we discover that Miss Astor has requested that Bertha take over the Newport ball because of her current status with her daughter Hohen and all of the things, and just, it's just being a really messy and icky situation. And so she's agreeing to that. And so Bertha sits down and talks to McAllister and is like, hey, why did you do this? Why did you put me in there? Why did you do that? And he said, it wasn't a personal attack. I just wanted the common people to understand and know that the rich elite people have the same issues. And she was like, baby, you really shouldn't have done that. But now that she has the ball, will we see McAllister there, even though he is like one of the dregs of society? Before I was so rudely interrupted by my damn camera. Okay, let's get back to it. Mr. McAllister is, of course, over there with Bertha. She's going to be hosting the Newport ball. And like I was saying, is he going to be there? Is it going to be an upset to the world? Or is she going to brutally rebuff him? What does this mean for the likes of Aurora Fane now that, Miss Astor is trying to figure out what to do with her daughter? Is this going to culminate in the finale? Or are we going to have to wait until next season? You guys, I don't know. Drop it in the comments and let me know. After all of this is said and done, Larry is back. He's closed and sealed the deal. All right. So the Russell line is justified and fine. And of course, Daddy Russell's like, yeah, that's my boy. Now, what y'all thought was going to happen didn't, though. Larry did not betray his father. He has like a slight profit sharing moment here, but ultimately the Russell house is secure. We're fine. Gladys' position is secured, and now an invitation has been sent to Gladys to come to the ball next week with Hector and leave Sister Cersei at home. Live for that. Love it at this point, because honestly, it feels like this relationship isn't going to be the terrible train wreck that I thought it was going to be. Hector does seem to have a genuine affinity to Gladys. So we'll see what happens, you guys. I don't know, but Larry is back, and the first thing he gets when he walks in the door is a letter from Marian breaking off everything. He said, I can't let this stand. He's knocking on the Rhijn household like, I need to speak to her. They're like, hold on. She's not ready to talk to you right now. Whatever. He catches her at the schoolhouse and is like, Marian, what the hell? She's like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, buddy, because I know what happens at that. I may be a lady, pure as the driven snow, but I know one thing. Men only go there to carouse and get their dinglings wet. And he says, no, it's not even like that. And basically says, I was there with my friends. I brought Jack. It was like we were there for a moment. We left. Okay. No, that's it. That's enough. I just want to be a spinster. And why would you tell that to Ada? And Ada really had to have a heart to heart with Marian. Like, Marian, what the hell are you talking about? That is not the life you would want for anyone, let alone yourself. Marian is so delusional. In this episode, we got more of the original Marian in terms of heart and, passion, but it was so misguided and so misdirected. Again, it just makes me utterly and completely feel like they've ruined her character completely, and that she really never even liked Larry. Because if this is all it took, and I get it, people are like, she's afraid to be hurt, she's afraid to be loved, she's gunshot, all of these things. But you wouldn't do this if you really like that man. You would at least wanted to have a conversation with him prior to breaking it off. And so after he leaves the schoolhouse, he's just bitter and disturbed. He goes and tells Bertha, it's probably you. You did it with all Gladys suitors. You probably did it here too. I'm going to the club with Dad. So basically, Bertha's now in a house all by herself. Okay. She goes to the office to try to talk to George. Larry is already there because they're making arrangements. Everything is lined up with the land. We've got the railroad. We're going to get JP Morgan Chase back on deck. She comes in talking about this damn ball. They politely ignore her because, Bertha, who the hell are you? Yes, you're all alone in this gilded cage that you prepared for yourself. Be blessed. Be blessed, Dragon Lady. What do you want here? You've alienated everyone on this social climb. And now that you've reached it, now that you're getting the invitations, now that you're hosting the balls that everybody's coming to, you have no one to celebrate it with. Isn't that a shame? Isn't it a shame? A shame, a shame. Jack is out looking for new properties. I'm so glad we got to see Jack again. He finds a beautiful home. Marian is there touring with him. And they're talking and he's ready to pull the trigger, right? The proverbial trigger on this property. But before they leave, he talks to Marian and Marian's like, yeah. And he's like, I'm so sorry about what's going on. I feel like I needed to tell you more. I didn't tell you the truth because I didn't want you to look at me crazy. And no, you don't have to say anything. Yes, I do. And basically he absolves and clears Larry's name, which we knew it had to come from him. He's like, no, nothing untoward happened. We went with friends. It was the exact same story that Larry gave Marian. And now Marian's got to eat crow. If you want to, girl, because maybe you do want to be a spinster. At this point, that's what it's giving, because 3 strikes you're out. If you don't make this work with Larry, baby, you're going to be out here on a limb by yourself. I hate it. Now that the deal is good, Mr. Russell has some debts to pay back, mainly Clay. Because, yeah, Clay, that survey you got was wrong. My son went, he got it handled, and now we're richer than ever, and you're sat here. His new partner is like, Clay, you're an idiot. Get out of here. And Mr. Russell talks to Clay and says, listen, why'd you have to become my enemy? Just because you ain't work here didn't mean you have to be my enemy. And now look at you out here. And Clay basically says, I did what any man in this position would have done. And Larry's like, well, oh well. Now you really broke, busted, and disgusted because there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Again, like I said, Marian is just, we'll see what she does to make amends with Larry if she makes the first step. After the last scene and everything that happened there, I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be reunited, and it feels so good because I'll let you cry on my shoulder. You can cry into my bosoms. Let me dot your tears away with my kerchief. And all of those things, but we'll see. I'm just over Marian. Now we see Peggy and Dr. Kirkland. They are out in the garden, honey, and they're having a beautiful time and just talking about how much they adore each other. And when I'm not around you, I think of you often. This is just the most beautiful situation. And I'm thinking the whole time, Peggy, talk to this man. Talk to this man and tell him before your mama tells him, because I told y'all this was going to happen. Exactly what happened is what I told you was going to happen. That if she did not open her mouth and tell this man that his mama was going to find out and she was going to do it. She's over there talking to Leslie Uggams and says, yeah, I'm so surprised the doctor's interested in Peggy after her past, honey. She had a child and he gave it up for adoption and the baby died. And I don't even know if she was ever married. I'm pretty sure she was married, but I don't know. Immediately, Mama Kirkland says, I knew that heifer wasn't good enough for my baby. I knew it. I'm on the train right now to go tell Dr. Kirkland everything that happened. Goes to see Dr. Kirkland. She's sullied. She's besmirched. She's not a pure, chaste woman. She had a baby that she gave away for adoption. She's no good, no good, no good. And Dr. Kirkland said, I need to talk to her. She said, what you need to talk to her about? It's over and done. Any woman who would keep that from you, it's over for them. You don't need this. And so now, of course, he's going to have to talk to her face to face. And Peggy's going to have to tell the ultimate truth. He actually pops over there late in the evening to have this discussion. Now, I can't wait for this because Peggy, we could have told him. We could have told him this whole tragic situation and not had him looking crazy to his mama. It's always worse when it comes from the outside. It's always worse when it comes from the outside. Ada decides that she's going to host the suffragists, led by Peggy and Marian, and they have the meeting there, and they seem united. Agnes and Ada both seem very, very passionate. The woman who's been begging Agnes for her regular donation was there and was like, damn, I said, she's persistent. Agnes said, no, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Miss Foster, she's determined to get that money. Again, like I said, this was a crazy, crazy episode. So as we're wrapping up the episode, and I say, hey, we're safe now because we know the fruit carting happened last episode. There's no way we're going to get back-to-back craziness. I couldn't have been more wrong. We're there minding our business, wrapping everything up. I have to, just make all my deals, shake hands. This was a great day. We're back in the clear again. And there's a walk by. A walk by. Bow, 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 bow. Next thing I know, full beard that connects laying on the ground. I know we've had a storied relationship, a stormy relationship this season. We've had a stormy relationship this season. Me and the full beard that connects. But this is what I never wanted. He better be there. The finale, that last scene, he better be up and walking and in good health. Because Julian, Sonia, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm not playing with y'all. You would never do this. You would never do this. You would never do it. Mr. Russell is laid there bleeding like a slaughtered pig. That full beard that connects better be there. I'm going to leave it at that note. If you didn't already subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't forget tonight, every Monday night, well, at least for this week and next week, we're talking the Gilded Age, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. Myself and Tyra over at Struggle Reviews TV. I'll see you there tonight. Thanks for watching.